Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is Imran, the Don Khan.
Howdy, Blessing.
Imran, it's your final KFGD with me specifically
Yes.
as a host, and I am very sad.
I am also I was just talking to Kevin, I'm extremely sad to leave, but I will still be here as much as possible, and
Yeah.
I'm very excited that you've chosen today to play Resident Evil 7 on stream. So
I've definitely not. I've definitely not chosen
wait, is it
that.
not today?
Yeah,
is it tomorrow?
No, he plays streams tomorrow. He streams tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I'm not playing. To be clear for the audience, I'm not playing RE7 tomorrow. I'm probably gonna play some
I don't know.
Apex
Can we get an
and Smash.
RE7 chat?
I think we need Chad is convinced you're playing RE7. I think it'd be really shitty to it's really shitty to disappoint them now.
Yeah,
after you've already promised that you're going to do it tomorrow.
There it is.
And Ron, you're trying to tug at the disappointment strings. Let me tell you, I don't care when I disappoint people. I feel like I disappoint people daily, and I don't mind it at all. I go to sleep at night. I sleep like a baby, I wake up and I'm like, man, I wish I could have more sleep because I'm sleeping so well because I do not give a fuck about disappointing people. There's no RE7 stream coming.
The obvious end result of this is going to be that you're going to go play it one day and I'll just forget and I will not show up. And I will just be like, all right, whatever.
That would be awesome.
RE7? Yeah.
If I just decided to stream RE7, but I turned off all notifications on my personal Twitch channel, didn't tweet about it. Nobody came. It's like a 10-person audience just watching me play RE7, and that's it. I don't promote it at all. And I come back and I'm like, oh, I did it. Delete the VOD. Yeah.
That'd
be the perfect way to do it.
I feel like if you do that, you'd get big numbers because one person would make a big deal about it, and then that would be excitement, and it would just blow up.
Maybe. Possibly. We did hit the goal for the thermometer in our second January stream where me and Andy are both going to play a scary game on stream. And I've talked to Snowback Mike about this a little bit. I think there might be a goal on the streaming thermometer or whatever, the meter for me to play RE7. I don't know if that's confirmed or if I'm leaking things right now, but
that might be
there are certain ways maybe that you could get me to play RE7, but it's not planned. I'm not doing it tomorrow. I'm not doing it next week.
Have work.
I'm just gonna keep Snowbike Mike and Greg for the next couple of months and be like, so Blessing's playing RE7 tomorrow, right? And we'll just see what happens.
The only way I'm playing RE7 is if people give me money to play RE7.
People are giving you money to play video games, right? Just as people are your bosses.
If people give me more money, I'll play RE7. I don't know. That's something that we'll have to wait and see on. But I have no plans as of now to play RE7. I do have plans, though, to talk about video game news with you, Imran, because today's stories for KFGD include Epic Games' MetaHuman Creator, Ubisoft relying less on AAA, and more, because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, roosterteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kind of Funny Games Daily. To be a part of the show at the patreon.com/Kind of Funny Games, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Housekeeping for you. It's a huge week here at Kind of Funny. Let's start off with Barrett, who's back at it like a bad habit after releasing Zelda In review last year. Barrett immediately started working on Assassin's Creed In review, a Kind of Funny Games In review special, where he played through all 12 mainline games throughout 2020, wrote his reviews for each one, and then ranked them, and then compiled it all into one 2-hour video for your viewing pleasure, because Barrett is a madman. Assassin's Creed In review releases today, February 10th at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames as a YouTube premiere. The rumor is the reason why Imran is leaving is because Imran got an early viewing of Assassin's Creed In review, and Barrett put Assassin's Creed Unity as number one.
He's
I'm not confirming that. I'm just saying that's what I heard.
Barrett has not said this is not true. He just he's let it ride. So who knows?
Who knows?
Also, Kevin, I have a question. Could you theoretically sneak into Blessing's apartment, delete every game off his PS5 except RE7, and just whenever he goes to stream Apex, it's oh, I guess all I have here is RE7?
He can't do it. He's a coward.
I mean, first of all, don't
I will call the police on Kevin easily.
Oh shit!
You know,
you think I've never had the police called on me? You think that's something that scares me?
Listen, but what I'm saying though is, if friends could break into my apartment, I wouldn't mind, right? Yusef Magid, I trust him. You know, if he's breaking into my apartment,
also couldn't stop him.
Hold on, let him.
Yusef Magid breaks into my apartment. I'm like this.
Yeah.
Yusef Magid breaks into my apartment. I'm like, he's here for good reason. I trust this man.
Friends, right?
Kevin Coelho breaks into my apartment.
Who's not a friend,
I'm calling.
apparently? Is that what
The U.S. forces. I'm not saying you're not a friend. I'm just saying you're not a. I'm saying you're not a friend that I trust. I'm saying I don't trust you.
But you
if
just
you break into my house, you're not here for good reason. Am I wrong?
Am I wrong? Now you're not wrong.
The thing, Bless, if Yusuf breaks into your house, you can't stop him. Like, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna call the police.
The police can't stop Yusuf. What are you talking about?
Back to Assassin's Creed in review, of course. Let's see. So you can watch the video as it debuts and then hang out in chat with Barrett and other best friends to talk about everything we love about Assassin's Creed. And then also happening today, the FCF activities begin with the first draft. Come to twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames to draft our football team with Snowbike Mike and Greg on Wednesday. That's today, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then Saturday is Wild Aces game day. The fan-controlled football season starts with the Wild Aces squaring off against Quavo and Richard Sherman's Glacier Boys, my personal favorite in the FCF League. We'll be streaming the game at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday, so show up for that. And then after the game, you can stick around for Love, Sex, and Stuff's live Valentine's Day call-in show. A big Saturday here at Kinda Funny, twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Graham of Legend, David Mintel, Trent Berry, Blackjack, Louise Aguiar at 8-Bit Louise, James Davis at James Davis Makes, and The Nanobiologist. Today we're brought to you by Amazon Pharmacy and DoorDash, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
Baker's dozen.
I can't get the image out of my head of Yusef versus like a bunch of unarmed police officers, right? How many armed forces, or in this case unarmed forces, I'm gonna say, versus Yusef will it take to actually take that man down? Because Yusef is a force to be reckoned with.
Okay, is Barrett in the chat? Can Barrett put that poll? No, that might be actually a bad poll. That might be a real creepy poll.
That can get problematic real quick.
Not a good idea.
So no, don't do that.
Yusef can hold his own though, and so I would like to see. And let's take police out of it. How many men does it take to take out Yusef Magid? Normal men.
Based on that
I'm gonna say
video,
3.
I'm gonna say I was gonna say 5.
How do we make this happen?
How do we put a Yusef Battle Royale?
How many? Actually, let's frame it this way. How many kind of funny members does it take to take out Yusef?
Oh, we'd all lose.
You think all kind of funny versus Yusef? You think he'd take us?
I think it matters on the member, right? You think one Greg Miller? You don't understand the power of Greg Miller. You've never seen
against Yusef though. Yusef is a tall. I know Greg Miller is tall, but Yusef is also tall.
I've literally seen Yusef pick up Greg Miller.
That is true. He John Cena picked up Greg Miller, right? I don't know.
I'd pay good money. I'd pay good money to watch Greg and Yusef. Good.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yes, 100%.
All right, we're adding that to the thermometer 2022. Story number 1, Epic has revealed their MetaHuman creator. This is from Nick Statt at The Verge. Kevin, I have 2 videos here that I want you to play. The first one you can play while I'm reading through the story, and the second one I want us to watch together because there is very fascinating stuff going on with Epic and their MetaHuman creator. Again, I'm going to pull this story from Nick Statt at The Verge. Epic Games has announced a new browser-based software tool powered by its Unreal Engine called the MetaHuman Creator that can craft highly realistic human faces and help power more realistic body movements and facial animations. Epic provided a sneak peek at the platform today and a pair of YouTube videos showing off examples of creations built using MetaHuman Creator, and, quote, MetaHuman appears to be the term the company is using to describe this brand of virtual, non-real individual. Epic says the MetaHuman Creator can be used in conjunction with modern motion capture and animation techniques for creating lifelike motions and human interaction scenes built for video games, film, TV, and other formats. The company says these photorealistic humans can be generated in a matter of minutes and equipped with unique hairstyles and clothing, and then they can be tailored further to meet their needs of a production. And these metahumans can be manipulated in real time within the tool itself and just using a web browser, Epic says. Quote, up until now, the most arduous tasks in 3D content creation has been constructing truly convincing digital humans. Even the most experienced artists require significant amounts of time, effort, and equipment just for one character, said Vladimir Maslovic, Epic's vice president of digital humans technology, in a statement. Quote, after decades of research and development, and thanks to bringing in companies like 3Lateral, Cubic Motion, and Quixel into the Epic family, that barrier is being erased through Unreal Engine, and we're thrilled to introduce MetaHuman Creator, end quote. MetaHuman Creator does seem capable of making some shockingly realistic looking people that could easily pass for a real life motion captured actor. Though perhaps we need to wait to see what the tool is truly capable of in the hands of third party creators before making a verdict on whether it escapes the uncanny valley. It's not clear when Epic intends to release the MetaHuman Creator outside a broad 2021 release window, but interested developers and artists can sign up for updates on the Unreal Engine website. Imran, have you seen this morning, and what are your thoughts on this so far?
So my first thought was, oh, this is cool as shit. The second thought was, oh, this is creepy as shit. And now, like, while you were talking, there was like a weird sync with the video of like, literally, it looked like the person in the video was saying those words. So like,
surprise! That's the surprise. It is Games Daily. I have partnered with Epic, and we're doing this whole thing. No, I'm just done.
Yeah, then it like circles back to creepy as shit after that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, it's interesting, and for a number of reasons. One, like, okay, I can get why Epic did this. It does make sense from an engine perspective. Like, on multiple levels, this is like, okay, working on this makes it easier to work on the engines without actually having to like go in and like put out a game and like, this is what this can do now, blah blah blah. They can just continually like iterate or make iterations of this, and it'll like help improve the Unreal 4 engine and Unreal 5, I guess, whenever that actually does become a thing for video games at this point. But beyond that, it is also what they're saying about character models. It is true. Character modeling does take a lot of time and a lot of work. Making it easier as like a middleware is a very smart thing for them to do as an engine creator. I think what that's going to mean practically for early on is going to be like, oh, we're going to go back to the days when Unreal Engine 3 couldn't do hair and everyone looked exactly the same. So that might be what it looks like for a little bit, but I think there is a big benefit further down the line. But it does, like, as we get closer to photorealism, the more uncanny valley we seem to hit. And there's aspects of this that I really don't like in terms of like how these characters actually look and how realistic they look, but like a slight distance.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of in the meantime, in the early days of this, I don't know what this pans out. Like, I don't know how this looks like on a very practical scale. Like, I don't necessarily see big companies come into this in order to create their big AAA polished products, because this does seem to be in that middleware zone. But as this keeps getting built on and improved and all that stuff, like this technology has big implications for the future of character design and accessibility. And even if you aren't a Ubisoft, or I guess Ubisoft has their own engines that they use, but even if you aren't like a big AAA developer that's using the Unreal Engine, even as maybe an indie developer that might be using the Unreal Engine, this tool probably poses a big benefit for you, because you have to save so much time on character models and animation and have access to facial animations and all this stuff done in a way easier way. Kevin, I want you to bring up the second video I have on the doc, because
FYI, these are the same videos.
Oh, are they?
You know. Yeah.
Oh, they are. If you could search up, there is another video. Well, actually, which video did you play? Was it the one where they were just talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a talking video.
Oh, okay. Well, if you could play this one again, but like play it with sound.
Hold on a second. Something weird's happening.
Yeah, there are basically two videos. This one, and then there's another one that actually shows them in the tool messing around and a lot of stuff, and that I just want to use for visual. This, what they're actually saying in this video is interesting because they actually like go into detail in terms of, hey, this is what this is why we're doing this, and it's very, very interesting.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am a MetaHuman, the next generation of digital human powered by Unreal Engine. MetaHumans are high-fidelity digital characters created by you, the user, on our new
creepy,
content
right?
creation platform, MetaHuman Creator.
It wasn't creepy until she
I am
smiled.
fully
Like,
rigged, ready for
you
animation
can't
and motion
approximate a
capture,
smile.
allowing you to work in context. With everything running live in Unreal Engine, my motion works seamlessly.
On other characters. I have 8 levels of detail and have been tested on a wide range of hardware platforms, from feature film to mobile. If you're interested in learning about my animation rig or high-fidelity deformations, built on Control Rig, the new strand-based hair system via the Groom component, or how everything is tied together and animated in Sequencer, then have a look under the hood in this project. This is just a glimpse of things to come.
And this is available in browser. Like you can create these characters in browser, and
So
like
wait,
yeah.
So
It-
these
it's
aren't
crazy.
people. These aren't
No.
people at all. These are just creations.
yeah, like these are. I mean, people are obviously voicing and all that stuff, but yeah, these are creations that people went into the MetaHuman Creator, created, and I'm assuming animated using like facial animation tech and like probably like motion
Yeah.
capture.
Yeah, there's the moment where it shows all the like animation points.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I kind of wonder, like, at what point is this going to get like real? Because like there was a time when deepfakes were becoming a bigger thing, and like Reddit just like banned them because they were being
Everywhere
used for
banned
nefarious
them,
shit.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
I think Pornhub
like-
banned them, and it was a big loss. That's the way they
At,
stopped. It's
at
good.
what point,
Good.
like, is somebody going to make, I don't know, their teacher or an ex-girlfriend or something, and it
Oh,
just
that's
be
gonna
like,
happen.
yeah, and that's
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
just
right
be like,
away.
oh shit, this is bad. Like if I didn't know what that was, and I just saw that video starting until she smiled, I would not think, oh,
I-
that's a CG person.
We've already seen deep fake videos of, like, I think there was one with Obama where he says some things, and it's like, he didn't say that. And a lot of the things have been edited in that video to make him look like he's saying something
Yeah.
he isn't. They changed the flag behind him. And it's like, so already, like, we don't even need, this far. Like, people are already with deepfake stuff doing things that are bad,
Yeah, like I saw a video of
then
I forget who the actor was, but he was like doing impressions on Letterman, and like literally he would turn into the actor he was doing impressions of. I'm like, oh, this is creepy as shit. Like this has like bad disinformation.
Yeah. No,
like-
there's a lot of nefarious shit people can do with this stuff. And it's terrifying. On one hand, it's very terrifying. On the other hand, also very cool and very much like this is the future. Like people are going to use this for so many different things. I remember in previous streams, like in recent streams we've done on twitch.tv /ConFunnyGames, I believe like Andy and them and Stoic Mike and them were watching VTubers, and this is 1000% going to be used for VTubing in the early days. If you think about like one, how quality this is, but then also how easy it seems to be able to use with
But
motion capture and all this stuff.
Just to clear up things that I've seen in the chat where people are like, oh, this doesn't look real. It's not that they're trying to look real. It's just that normally it would take people a long time to make a fake
Like
person
this is
that
not
doesn't exist.
this is not something that is that has been accessible for anybody to go in and use and create in this way.
I think it doesn't look real if you're looking at like from an analytical perspective of like, okay, I'm gonna like check
Does
and
this
see
look
if
like a
this
real
looks
person?
real.
It looks
But
good
if, like,
for a
see-
video game.
If you see this video like
Yeah.
grimy on Facebook or like Reddit compression or whatever, it's like, is this real? Like, is it
Yeah,
just
like you
bad
just saw it
compression?
randomly be like, wait, okay, what is this? But if you go into it knowing what it is, you're like, okay, no, this looks like Watch Dogs, or this looks like a Quantic Dream game or whatever. But out of context, just like if it looks like grime or compressed or whatever, you'd be like, oh, what is? Oh, is that my homie Michael? Like, what's going on here?
Bless.
So,
I
go ahead,
did
Kevin.
find the other video that you wanted me to.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and bring that up because I think it'd be fun to watch that one too. Click and play.
I could be one of many.
主人公にだって
So yeah, now we're looking at the same character models from the previous video, and there are some new ones now here. And they're going through and they're talking about how they're different people. I could be this, I could be that, I could be an architect, I could be an artist, all this different stuff.
You create the narrative.
Like, if you don't know anything about
Yeah.
video games and you saw this stuff, I think you could be convinced.
Yes.
I think so
Yeah.
too. This is wild, dude.
Yeah. Again, and look how
The close-up shots are insane. Insane.
and this being just available on browser is the thing that blows my mind.
It's available on everything, right? Like, all the consoles, phones.
Oh, is it? Did
Yeah.
they
What do you
talk
mean?
about that? I just saw the browser stuff. I assume
Yeah.
it'll be available on PC also, but I didn't realize that they're gonna put it out.
It's on PC as well. Like,
And to be
PC
clear,
is the
this
main
isn't like MetaHuman Creator isn't out yet. Like it is, it's coming 2021.
It is part of the UE4. I think if you have UE4, you can dev kit test it now.
Gotcha.
So
Crazy
speaking
stuff.
of which, I was actually reading the documentation for this, and one of the things that was interesting to me is one of the future improvements thing is quality of MetaHumans on iOS, Android, and Swiss platforms will continue to improve, and they like list out the ways they intend to improve it. If you look at that, just saying like, "Hey, we're gonna keep working on this software," that makes sense. But the fact that it lists those three platforms as platforms that, like, iOS and Android will have variable hardware, they are
Mhm.
going to improve year over year. I kind of wonder if that's like a small hint of like, yeah, Switch will get better. Just don't worry about it right now.
Oh, you think so?
I wonder if that's saying like Switch hardware is going to improve at some point. We can't talk about it right now.
I'd hope so.
It could go either way. Maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see there, but that's kind of like the initial like, an odd thing to say there.
Does it call out Switch specifically, or does it say
Yes.
like interesting? Yeah,
Quality
maybe that
of
could
MetaHuman
be it.
iOS, Android, and Switch platforms will continue to improve.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, it could be them also like reading the tea leaves, and it could be assumptions, or it could be them like really being like, in the next as Nintendo platforms can continue to come out and all that stuff, it'll improve. But yeah,
Yeah.
the Switch language there I think is interesting, but we shall see. Imran, let's talk about some Ubisoft news. Story number 2: Ubisoft is moving away from reliance on AAA releases. This is from Rebekah Valentine over at IGN. Ubisoft doesn't want to be as reliant on AAA game releases as it has in the past, and will instead look more closely at free-to-play games in its back catalog to make money. Call today following the company's Q3 financial results. The publisher said that its plans for fiscal 2022, the period from April 2021 through March 2022, included 3 AAA game releases, but that in the future, Ubisoft didn't want AAA games to be the focus of its business model. Quote, "We said for a number of years that our normal template is to come with either 3 or 4 AAA games, so we'll stick to that plan for fiscal 2022. But we see that we are progressively, continuously moving from a model that used to be only focused on AAA releases to a model where we have a combination of strong releases from AAA and strong back catalog dynamics, but also complementing our program of new releases with free-to-play and other premium experiences," said CFO Frederick Duguet. He went on to specify that the company had a number of titles, AAA and otherwise, in the pipeline, naming Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Quarantine, Skull and Bones, Riders Republic, The Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, and Roller Champions. He also nodded to a previously announced Assassin's Creed mobile game planned to come to China with the help of Ubisoft investor Tencent, which he said was a part of the company ramping up its investment and its interest in free-to-play games, especially on mobile. Mobile currently makes up about 9% of the company's total business. Notably, there wasn't a single mention on the call about Ubisoft's free-to-play battle royale Hyperscape, which flopped tremendously at launch and is currently undergoing an overhaul. Elsewhere in the call, CEO Yves Guillemot also noted that the company's back catalog, or its already released games that are still bringing in revenue long-term, will also play a heavier role in the company's revenues in the future, and already are. As an example, 6-year-old Rainbow Six Siege added 15 million new players in the last 12 months, growing to 70 million total players since launch, and is still a major revenue driver for the publisher. And Ron, there's a lot we can dig into here. Where do you want to start?
So it's weird to me they're only just dawning on the idea of like maybe not AAA games all the time. Like I guess that worked out for them for quite a long time, but at some point you are dedicating 100% of your resources to make or break titles, and if one of them breaks, then it doesn't work out well for you. But yeah, I hope that means like good games that aren't super expensive, like more like Immortals, and less like what they call out here of you know, mobile and free to play kind of things. But you know, who knows? Who knows how it's actually going to end up shaking out for them?
Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft's catalog is it doesn't really. It is already a bit what they're talking about here, like of leading into, where you have games like Brawlhalla that are, I
Yeah.
assume, is doing well for Ubisoft because they keep adding characters to it. You also have Rainbow Six Siege and stuff. Like their catalog is already pretty diverse in that place, right? And there are games like Hyperscape that seem to be leaning into that idea of, hey, let's diversify and do different stuff, even though Hyperscape didn't pan out probably as they wanted it to. But you know, there's still always that chance of Hyperscape growing and getting better and becoming good and also becoming a hit later down the line, like has happened with other games. And what kind of happened with Rainbow Six Siege, even though Rainbow Six Siege, I think, launched fine, but then just got better as it went. I think that same thing could happen with Hyperscape and other games released similarly from Ubisoft. While we're here, I want to pull in another article from GamesBeat where they talk about how Ubisoft has had its strongest quarter in the company history. This is Mike Minotti. And I'm only going to read a few paragraphs. As soon as my browser unfreezes, why is it frozen? Browser
Discord is a
unfreeze.
processor hog.
Oh my god. Okay, well maybe I won't bring in this article because I literally can't scroll on it.
I have
Hold
it
on.
open. Do you want me to read any part of it?
Hold on. I'm going to try one more time. Okay, no, it's working now.
Okay.
Ubisoft has posted its financial results for the third quarter of 2020 to 2021, boasting its best quarter ever. The period ended on December 31st. During the 3 months, Ubisoft released huge games, including Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Immortals Phoenix Rising, and Watch Dogs Legion. The popular Just Dance franchise also debuted its latest entry. Ubisoft reported net bookings of about $1.2 billion. That is more than double the $551 million from the same quarter last year. All of gaming has been getting a boost thanks to the pandemic as the sheltering masses flock to the medium for entertainment. While some companies like Nintendo had scaled back offerings this holiday season, Ubisoft released a steady stream of big games. The company also benefits from strong backlog sales. Older games like Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle and the Far Cry franchise continue to sell well long after release. And that's the specific thing I wanted to highlight when it comes to what their strategy seems to be from shifting back from AAA a little bit and focusing more on back catalog and other things. Where, like, yeah, Rainbow Six Siege, killing it. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, still selling. The Far Cry franchise seems to be still selling. Like, this seems to already be playing into what Ubisoft has been doing well already. And so I definitely understand why they would come out and just be like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this more because this is working for us. And I hope this means that they reach further back and bring back games like Splinter Cell and other fan favorites that people have been asking for.
Well, if you look at like the list of AAA games that is written in the article, like it's a who's who of, oh, we delayed this shit and like we don't know when it's coming. Like Far Cry 6 is the closest to coming out. But it's Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Quarantine, Skull and Bones, Rise Republic, Princess Princess, Sands of Time, and Roller Champions. Granted, I do not remember if Roller Champions ever came out, but that also, that just speaks volumes. But like clearly AAA is not working out well for them if like they took a year off from game development, or not year off, but like a year delay of game development to like make sure everything got right. Then Watch Dogs came out and it was fine. It wasn't like, you know, revelatory or anything. Like the systems worked, but beyond that, it wasn't that interesting. Valhalla came out and Valhalla was good, but it wasn't great. It didn't knock anyone's socks off. So I wonder if like they're looking at that like, what are we doing here? What is the next big thing for Ubisoft? And I'm not sure they know. Like very, very pointedly, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is not mentioned. Is that game still in existence? Like Ansel is off. He's off game development. He's not consulting on that game anymore. Like, is somebody making it? Did they just quietly cancel it? Like, is it one of those things they looked at like, oh, AAA games are not doing it for us, so this is the first on the chopping block? Questions that need to be answered, I suppose.
See, Beyond Good and Evil 2, I just see as one of those games that was just announced way too early because Well, even when they announced that game, even when they announced that game, I immediately, for me, I was like, okay, well, we'll see when this comes out, because y'all obviously have not started working on this thing. Like, you guys have a debut trailer and that's about it. And it's cool that you want to do the thing where you give us the updates, and the thing where you're bringing in the audience to help make the game. I think it's kind of weird, but it is what it is. For me, that signifies that this game is way further out than we think. That game, as of now, I think is probably still in development, but it's just one of those things where game development is so weird and inconsistent, and like, in the perfect world, every game would take 3 to 4 years to make, and it'd come out and we'd all be like, cool, it's awesome, thanks. But I'm sure that game is probably in a limbo right now where they're still trying to figure it out, and they're too scared to talk about it or commit to a year or anything, because they just don't know when they'll be able to figure out what that game actually is.
So in September, they said the game is in playable state. Is coming. There will be a gameplay reveal in 2021. So maybe, like, if that game is still existing, like, honestly, maybe it is better if Ansel is not there, because I'm not sure what that game was before.
Mm-hmm. Imran, speaking of Rainbow Six Quarantine specifically, this is actually story number 3. Ubisoft could rename Rainbow Six Quarantine. This is Jordan Oloman at IGN. Ubisoft has revealed that it may be renaming Rainbow Six Quarantine, but insists the long-delayed game will arrive this year. During Ubisoft's third quarter earnings call, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot announced that the company was asked whether the studio was concerned about releasing a game with quarantine in the title, given the global pandemic that arrived after the game's reveal. Quote, on Rainbow Six Quarantine, we're creating a product that is actually, as it's named today, is something we're evaluating, and we'll see what comes in the future on that product, Guillemot said in response. This suggests we may see the game under a new moniker in the future. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. That game is getting renamed.
Yeah, fucking course. Like, why are they just saying that now? It was obvious a year ago that game was being renamed. It's like, I cannot believe the people who renamed Gods and Monsters into Immortals Phoenix Rising have not been looking at that, or have been looking at that for a year and be like, should we rename this? Of course you're gonna rename it. Like,
yeah, no, I think they probably made that decision by July last year to rename it, and they're probably either one in the place where they're still trying to figure out the name, and they don't want to say they're gonna rename it until they figure out what the other name is gonna be, or
yeah.
We're probably going to get a Ubisoft Forward soon, and if it seems like they're committing to this year, and so if that's the case, I imagine the next Ubisoft Forward, and maybe 2 forwards from now, they'll come out and be like, "Hey, Rainbow Six Quarantine is now Rainbow Six COVID-19, and we're leaning all the way in." No, they're not going to do that, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to rename it, and we'll see what it is.
Like, I saw some people in chat going like, "Why would they rename it? Like, there's nothing wrong with the name." If you're going to market a product, you don't want to remind people that life is a bummer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're not renaming it because it's, like, offensive or insulting. They're renaming it because it's a dumb name for a product right now.
Yeah, no, it's about marketing. You want to be able, if you're Ubisoft and you're in the place where you can rename a game, which they are, and they've done very recently with Gods and Monsters, right? Like, it's not about it being, like, bad or offensive or people going, how dare you? It's more so the fact that they want to sell that game. And if you're a mom and you go to the store and you see a game called, or if you're anybody and you go to the store and you see a game called Rainbow Six Quarantine, that in a marketing sense, that immediately invokes, like, this bad feeling, because we've been in a quarantine for the last year, right? Like, you don't want that on the marketing side. You want people to look at your game and not immediately associate it with something terrible or bad feelings.
So there was a Ubisoft thing that I forgot about, and I wanted to mention, because you mentioned Mario Rabbids, and there's a story from The Gamer from a couple of weeks ago that the official Twitter account changed their name, or the official Rabbids official Twitter account changed their name from that to @MarioRabbids at some point, and then changed it back before anyone really noticed. Mm-hmm. So I kind of wonder if, like, that's coming soon, like, a reveal of that game is coming fairly soon,
like Mario and Rabbids 2.
Yeah, like a sequel. Because I have zero doubt they're working on a sequel, but, like, they showed the first one and released it within, like, 3 months. So I'd expect a very similar timeline here.
Do you think we're talking a lot about Ubisoft announcements, right, and what they could have planned in the near future? Do you think we see Ubisoft go back to E3? Because all the things we're talking about, I think, would make sense as the E3 announcements.
I think unless there's a big reason to do so, I don't see a whole lot of, like, major companies going back to E3. Unless, like, let's say Ubisoft forwards do not translate to game sales in a way that E3 does, and they'd have to do like a decent bit of marketing research about that. And I'm sure ESA is also doing their own marketing research about that. Then maybe they would do that. But like, I am not convinced that E3 this year is going to be the E3 that we know, and I don't think it's going to carry the same social cachet it did before. Like you're not going to have like the mainstream press like reporting on a virtual E3 or even an E3 2022 that's like an actual physical thing in the same way like they did when like, oh, new Assassin's Creed is on like on Ubisoft stage and like in a mainstream newspaper like it used to be. It's just now going to be like, all right, I guess like the virtual diaspora is now what's the new normal.
Yeah, I can see that too. Like my prediction is I think we'll get a Ubisoft Forward in June or what we'd consider E3 time-ish. But it's very difficult to imagine any of the big publishers we've had at E3 traditionally appearing there again when I guess they've not made the announcement, but there have been reports that we've talked about on this show of, yeah, E3 is probably going to be digital. Like it seems like they're leaning into that, but it's also still going to cost 6 figures to participate, which seems like a huge mistake.
It is a fairly high 6 figures too. It is not a low number.
Oh no.
So like in comparison to a physical, like people don't realize how much Ubisoft's E3 show cost them. It is in the tens of millions. So like it is not a cheap show to put on. At some point, like, yeah, just put a camera on Yusef and like have him announce games.
Yeah. It's like let Yusef talk. Let Kind of Funny tackle Yusef on camera and have that be like the opening thing where each of us take a shot at Yusef, see how many members it takes for us to take him down.
If we can beat Yusef, then we get a new Assassin's Creed game.
That'd be but we're gonna get a new Assassin's Creed game in that case.
Okay, if we can beat Yusef, then Sam Fisher comes back for Splinter Cell.
If we can beat Yusef, they keep the name from Rainbow Six Quarantine and sell it that way.
I don't know that anyone wins there. Like
exactly.
It's just we all get beat up by Yusef and like somebody changes their name at some point. Make it happen,
Ubisoft. Story number 4. PS5 DualSense is having some drift issues. This is Marie Dealessandri at gamesindustry.biz. PS5's controller, the DualSense, is allegedly suffering the same drift issue that have been widely reported in the Nintendo Switch's Joy-Con. Players reported stick drift issues online as early as 10 days after their purchase of Sony's console, Kotaku reported. The issue sees the DualSense controller registering movement even when it's not being used. Drift issues have been exploding in the past few years, affecting all platform holders. Nintendo has been particularly impacted, with Joy-Con drift the target of over 25,000 complaints across Europe. The European Commission has now been called to investigate the issue. It's under scrutiny outside of Europe too, with class action lawsuits filed in Canada and the US. Microsoft is also affected with a class action lawsuit filed last year, saying that Xbox One controllers have problems with faulty analog sticks. Imran, are we just stuck in the future where every controller is going to have issues from now on?
Yes, that like they're mechanical things. They're gonna wear after some time. The Joy-Con thing is like a specific weird example because of how flat they want to keep the internals of that controller. So like it does not have the full support of like a, analog stick and ball kind of thing. With Sony, I'm not shocked. I'm not convinced there's a mass report of these issues quite yet, but I do think those controls are so complicated that they're gonna wear and break at some point faster than normal controllers. Like for sure. Even when playing video game, like playing PS5 games, whenever like stuff like I have to push past the resistance, I'm like, oh, this controller is gonna break like at some point. Like I am wearing down on gears and like, or not gears specifically, but like on things inside that controller. Yeah, that will not
right?
last forever. Is it gears?
I believe so. I think it's a system of gears that like moves to higher and lower gears to like make it resist more.
Okay, then like that's also probably like nothing is going to last eternally. I've gone through like 3-4 DualShock 4s. Like it is I expect that PS5 DualSense controllers are going to be more replaced than we think. But, like have you played Spider-Man Remastered yet?
Only a little bit. I played it to get the platinum and that was it.
So have you ever noticed that like when you're playing that game and then you back out to the PS4 menu, you can hear like an audible click from the controller?
On the PS5 menu?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think that happened to me.
So like I was able to replicate it like a dozen times, and
Interesting.
like I think it's just the things that are going on in the controller for the game, when they don't have to do that, they like go to rest, which implies there's like a level of tension in that controller when I'm playing a game that can't be actually good for it, like in terms of long-term sustainability for that thing. So
Mhm.
like I have personally made peace with the fact that I'm gonna replace the controller one day. Like
Yeah.
whatever, that's fine. I've had to replace Joy Cons and Xbox controllers and dual like whatever. But I guess hopefully it is a wear and tear issue and not a systemic thing like built from a bad design choice like the Joy Cons are.
Yeah, this strikes me as something that will. Oh, are those the Kevin's showing right now? Are those the gears that are inside the controller?
Okay.
I've been a little bit
Gears of
fascinated
War.
with. I've been a little bit fascinated with how the actual DualSense works. There was somebody on Twitter, I forgot who it was. Somebody on Twitter was talking about this exact thing, and they're like, "Yeah, I like looked into a video and a breakdown of how the DualSense worked. And once I watched the video, I was way less impressed with the DualSense. And when I read that, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not gonna look. I just want to keep the magic alive.
Like, why
Because
would
right
you
now,
be
every time I
way
use the
less-
DualSense, I'm like, this is fantastic, and I don't want to know how the magic works.
It still works great on
I think
Astrobot.
it's so cool.
Like Astrobot, I think is the
This is
major
cool.
game. But like, haven't found a game aside from Astrobot that I've loved as much as that. So like, it's gonna like how everything, it's gonna come down to design. And if it's just
Yeah.
the gun takes a click, I'm not interested in that. But if it's like, oh shit, if like I even like the Destruction All Stars, honestly, like it kind of a health meter.
Yeah. No, and I like in terms of Joy-Con drift and all that stuff, like I assume that's a thing that I fingers crossed this is a first wave of hardware thing that some people are experiencing. It doesn't seem yet to be on the level of the Joy-Cons, which is nice, but it's also like hey, time will tell, like we're still early on. Eventually for Joy-Cons, everybody's Joy-Con got Joy-Con drift. I would hope, and I don't think that's going to be the case for the DualSense. And if that starts being a more common thing, then I assume that'll be fixed with a new wave of DualSenses being produced.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not convinced that Joy-Con or joystick
DualSense
drift is a like mass problem right now. But I also don't think that controller is going to last long for most people anyway.
Mm-hmm. And Ron, before we get into the next news story, I want to tell you about our sponsor. Of course, you can go to patreon.com/KindofFunnyGames where you can get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, this episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily is brought to you by Amazon Pharmacy. Chances are you use Amazon, but have you used Amazon Pharmacy yet? That's right, prescriptions delivered to your door by Amazon, just like the toilet paper and Funko Pops you're probably already ordering. It saves you time and keeps you out the waiting line at the pharmacy. It's easy. Have your doctor's office send you your next prescription straight to Amazon Pharmacy. Your insurance, Amazon Pharmacy works with most insurance plans nationwide. Amazon Prime members get free 2-day delivery and save on prescription medication when paying without insurance. Tim needed some medication over the previous holiday break. He used Amazon Pharmacy, and he says it's easy as all hell. Amazon Prime members can save on prescription medication when not using insurance and get free 2-day delivery. Learn more at amazon.com/gamesrx. That's Amazon, amazon.com/gamesrx. Amazon.com/gamesrx. We're also brought to you by DoorDash. Dinner, check. Deodorant, check. Morning pick me up from Dunkin', check. If you're me, then it's Starbucks. I got my morning pick me up from Starbucks, and let me tell you, that thing hit. Was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago when I got my Starbucks order, they gave it to me with too much cream in it, and so I didn't get the caffeine hit that I needed. I got a little bit of the caffeine hit, but it wasn't as much as I needed. Today, I asked for no cream, and let me tell you, oh buddy, I'm on fire today. And now you can get the grocery essentials you need with DoorDash. Also, get drinks, snacks, and other household items delivered in under an hour. Ordering is easy. Open the DoorDash app, choose what you want from where you want, and your items will be left safely outside your door with the contactless delivery drop-off setting. With over 300,000 partners in the US, Puerto Rico, Australia, and Canada, you can support your neighborhood go-tos or choose from your favorite national restaurants like Popeyes, Chipotle, and Cheesecake Factory. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code GAMES2021. For Canadian listeners, you use code GAMESCA. That's 25% off up to a $10 value and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code GAMES2021 in the US and GAMESCA in Canada. Don't forget, that's code GAMES2021 or GAMESCA for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Imran. Story number 5, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. We got a review roundup because the embargo went up today. Right now on Metacritic, it's sitting at a 90. On OpenCritic, it's sitting at an 89. I'm going to start with Chris Carter over at Destructoid, who gave it a 10 out of 10 and says, it still has everything that made me fall in love the first time. Strong and varied level design, fantastic and interactive power-ups, and the option for multiplayer that feels less cramped than some of the other 2D offerings. The tweaks are small overall, and Bowser's Fury isn't going to sate the most hardcore Mario fans looking for a brand new game, but the package as a whole is magical. If you were one of the many who missed out on this Wii U classic, fix that. Brian Shea over at Game Informer gave it a 9.25 out of 10 and says, having another chance to revisit Super Mario 3D World or experience it for the first time is reason enough to be excited. However, with an excellent all-new game joining the Wii U port, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is a compelling option for anyone who wants more Mario in their life. And then lastly, Cam Shea at IGN, who I assume is Brian Shea's brother. I have no evidence to back that up, but that is an assumption I'm making. Cam Shea at IGN gave it a 7 out of 10 and says, I disagree with my brother over there at Game Informer. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury packs a ton of engaging gameplay, but neither component comes together as elegantly as it might have done. This is a solid option if you're craving more Super Mario for your Switch, but it's not the mustachioed must-play I was hoping for. Imran, are you excited to get your hands on 3D World plus Bowser's Fury for the Nintendo Switch?
I am. I'm actually really excited because that game was great, but it was like it lacked a level of ambition that I think a lot of people expected from Mario just based off the Galaxy games. And like in terms of level design and all that stuff, I still enjoyed it, but like that, I think people held that against it when that game came out. And it sold 5 million copies in the Wii U, which is impressive, like a third of the install base. But like, I think this is the time where it's actually going to shine now. And people are like, oh shit, actually this game is really good. It sounds like Bowser's Fury, though not like, it's not a campaign size thing. It is still like a good 4 to 5 hours or whatever. Like that is, I think, the more interesting part to me, because I really want to play that. And I want to know what implications that part has for like future Mario games or future Zelda games or whatever the ideas are trying to like test out there.
Yeah, I'm excited to jump into this. This will be my first time playing 3D World, and then I'm also excited for Bowser's Fury because it seems like impressions for that are all over the place. It's been fascinating hearing Tim talk about it and be like, yeah, this seems like a new pillar for what 3D Mario could be in the way that it's structured, and that very much excites me because I love 3D Mario so much. 3D World has been one that I've never really been too excited for until now, where I've seen more people, or I've heard more people talk about it and express great things about it. Like I've always kind of categorized it as more of a new Super Mario Brothers game than an actual 3D Mario game. And
I think a lot of people did, which is like part of the reason it's not. It was like initially when they showed it, it was very malign. People did not like it until like the actual release.
Yeah, and that definitely affected how I took it because, you know, I didn't have a Wii U because like not many people had a Wii U, but then also, yeah, like seeing it and kind of having it in my mind of, okay, this seems more aligned with those games than 3D Mario games. I like the new Super Mario Brothers games, but they don't excite me in the way that Mario Odyssey or Mario Galaxy like really excites me. But you know, years after, it seems like people have more and more great things to say about 3D World as a game, and I can't wait to check it out because I think I've been selling it short by seeing it more along the lines of New Super Mario Brothers as opposed to its own thing. And so
yeah,
I'm hyped.
So for the record, none of us had 3D World on the Fantasy League.
That's because it's a remake or it's a re-release.
Oh right, yeah, no, we couldn't. It was okay. Damn,
Yeah.
It would have been
I
easy.
saw that too.
It'd been an easy amount of points, but unfortunate.
Imran, so now that you're leaving us, are you still going to keep up with the fantasy league? Are you still going to
Oh,
be
absolutely. Yeah.
okay?
I'm
Good.
also, this is the first time I've seen Tim's list now, and it just like he filled it up with games that are just not coming out this year.
Tim's list is ridiculous, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's living his best life, but his vision of 2021 is ridiculous. And I know
Deltarune is on his list.
like Deltarune is on his list. Last of Us Factions 2 is on his list. He put Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remake on there. Starfield is on there, and I know his strategy is, hey, I get like four free drops, right? Like one game, one game, whatever game you want for one, and then 3 games that don't get released in 2021. But I don't know, man. Like, I think he's betting. I think he's trying to game the system real hard, and I think that's going to backfire on him. Now,
Yeah.
I want to shout out a thing that I don't think anybody has shouted out yet on any of these shows. I've picked up 2 more games since the actual Gamescast episode where we did the
you
fantasy
did?
draft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, you can go to kindafunny.com/ I want to say it's fantasy draft, kindafunny.com/ you're wrong, or
Gamescast
chat.
League.
Gamescast League, kindafunny.com/ Gamescast League if you want to check out the actual league itself to see where we all stand. I picked up Guilty Gear Strive and Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, since the episode. And I'm feeling very good about those 2.
Yeah, Strive. I was watching some Strive videos last night. That game, 1, looks fucking amazing, and 2, looks really fun.
Yeah. I played the beta a little bit when the beta came out last year, and I was like, this game seems like it's going to be excellent. I cannot wait. And it was supposed to come out last year, and I believe it got delayed into this
Yeah.
year. And so I'm
Tad,
feeling
like
pretty
a-
good about it releasing also.
Yeah. I'm
So-
excited. I want to play you a couple rounds. I'm not good at Guilty Gear, but I will mash buttons until I win.
I'm not good at Guilty Gear either. Like I Guilty Gear Strive will be my first dive into Guilty Gear. I really love Dragon Ball Fighters, and I played so much in Dragon Ball Fighters, and I'm willing to throw hands in Dragon Ball Fighters. This will be my first time in Guilty Gear, and so I'm not feeling too confident because I know Guilty Gear players and fans seem very into it. Like if you like Guilty Gear, you are into Guilty Gear in a way that I'm scared to jump in because I'm sure most people playing are going to be hardcore, but I'm excited to try it out because it seems like a really cool game. Very
Yeah.
beautiful art style. Imran, we're going to close out with story number 6. We have the title of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie sequel. This is Matt Purslow at IGN. Sonic the Hedgehog is getting a sequel, and it is somewhat obviously called Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The name, with its Tails-inspired logo, was revealed on Twitter, along with a reconfirmation of its release date, April 8th, 2022. Kevin, if you can go on the doc, I have a link to the teaser.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, did you see this?
No, April 8th, 2022, for a movie called Sonic 2 is a Friday. Blessing, you were too young to remember this, but Sonic Tuesday was like the biggest fucking deal.
Wait, what?
Like, so when Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came out on the Genesis, the marketing hyped it up for like a year as Sonic Tuesday, the game comes.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's like, why are they not releasing Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, on a Tuesday?
It's a theatrical release. They can't just release it on a Tuesday.
Theaters aren't a thing anymore. They can release them whenever the hell they want. Let's see. Games Daily. Switch to browser. You want to watch this?
Have you seen the teaser yet, Imran?
No, I haven't seen. I saw the picture. Is that all there is?
Oh no, there's an actual. I mean,
okay.
that's basically all it is. But
yeah, it's a
Kevin
teaser.
will go ahead and play it.
Little loud.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. No, they're doing the music right. But no, that should be on a Tuesday. I'm like super disappointed it's not on a Tuesday.
I just love the tails coming out of the 2 because it's gonna be
Yeah.
all about tails. I'm so excited for
That
this.
is the way the Sonic 2 logo worked. Like,
I'm
hear
so
the-
excited.
Did you hear the rumor of
What's the rumor?
Jason Momoa is the voice of Knuckles?
God, yes.
It makes
Why?
sense. It makes sense. Like when you hear, like, imagine Jason Momoa talking. Yeah, that kind of sounds like Knuckles.
I guess. I just don't see Jason Momoa as a voice actor, really. Like if I heard Knuckles talk as Jason Momoa, I wouldn't put 2 and 2 together in my head of, oh, that's Jason Momoa. You know, like I'd just be like, oh, it's a voice.
That dude seems like he's really happy and good at chewing the set. So, like, as a
True.
voice actor, I think he'd be real good.
True. I don't know. Maybe I'll just have to listen because I don't really. Jason Momoa's voice doesn't stick out to me particularly, but I do when I think of Jason Momoa, I do think of him as a presence, like him walking onto a set and being his big old size self. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Jason Momoa for sure.
I think of two
That's the
things.
guy.
I think of the rape scene from Game of Thrones, and I think of
Jesus.
him like sneaking up behind Henry Cavill on the red carpet.
Yeah, no, that's a really good meme. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a really good meme. I think of him as Aquaman. In the Aquaman movie that I refuse to watch.
I watched it, and I still like. I
it's a good
don't
movie.
remember anything about it.
It's fun.
Is it?
It feels like they knew it was gonna be bad, so they doubled down.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
There's submarine like puns, like multiple submarine puns.
Yes. Also, like sometimes they remember they're swimming when they're standing, and sometimes they don't, and the movie just has no consistency on it, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I do like Jason Momoa, and so him as Knuckles. I'm not hating on it. Like I'm down to listen to him voice act Knuckles. I just don't recognize his voice that strongly, but that just might be me. What up?
At one point, there's in Aquaman, there's gonna be like a death battle where two people have to fight to the death, and there is an octopus playing drums.
Okay, maybe I'll have to watch this movie. This movie sounds great. I'm gonna watch Aquaman. Imran, very excited for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in April 8th, 2022, which is a Friday, not a Tuesday. But that Friday is just so far away. If I wanted it was coming out to mom and pop shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform. Ah, shit! I already messed it up. Shit.
No, you had it.
Okay, yes,
You were there.
All right. The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that your first time doing it without looking?
I think last time I accidentally might have peaked, so like this time I wanted to make sure, by yeah. So I think even though I feel like I messed up the first time, I did not. So I got it right.
You killed it.
Yeah.
Did I do the do-do-do's? Yeah.
Yeah.
Out today, we got hashtag Sunuka attack or pound sign Sunuka attack. I don't know how they wanted to say that. For Xbox and Switch, choices that matter in their heroes were lost for Switch. Free throw basketball for Switch, and then Doors of Insanity for PC. We have one new date for you. This is from Borderlands on Twitter. Tales from the Borderlands returns to storefronts February 17th.
Hell yeah. That game
Heck
rocks.
yeah, man. Tales from Borderlands, my favorite Telltale game. Love Tales from Borderlands. Go play it. Go check it out. And then we do have a deal of the day for you. This is from Nintendo on Twitter. 4 more titles will be added to NES and SNES online for Switch on February 17th. For Super NES Online, we got Doomsday Warrior, Psycho Dream, and Prehistoric Man. And then for NES Online, we got Fire and Ice. Imran, how many of these games are you familiar with?
I know Prehistoric Man. I've heard Psycho Dream is real bad. I never played it, but it never came out from Japan. So, why are there so many caveman SNES platformers?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
There's more than 2, which is like
think it was-
way more than you would think.
Cavemans were in vogue back in the day. They're like pirates.
Encino Man.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser, the GOAT.
Yeah.
What's Nintendo's beef with Earthbound? What's going on?
I would bet because it sold so well on Wii U that they're trying to figure out a way to monetize it.
That's fucked up.
That would be my guess. I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Mario World and the DKC franchise, though, right? Like those are on SNES Online.
Are they? I thought only 3 was. No, it's 2 and 3, right?
For Donkey Kong Country,
Yeah.
1 is on there. Yeah, 1 is on there.
Okay, then yeah. Who knows? But Earthbound did sell extremely well on Wii U. Like they were shocked how well it sold. So who knows? Like that might be the reason they're holding it back.
I don't like it. Just give me Earthbound and give me Mario RPG because I would like to play both of those.
Mario RPG, I kind of wonder if the reason is because Paper Mario is out and they don't want to like conflict the sales.
Oh yeah, some conflict.
Yeah. Maybe like that game comes down the line. Who knows?
Who knows? Imran, now it's time for kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. That's where you write in and let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong so we can correct it for those watching later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and on podcast services around the globe. Charles Jacobson says, I believe the interview Imran was talking about is with Bill Hader and Tom Cruise. I have no idea what that reference is.
The deep fake thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And like,
Frankfurter says, missed new date. Stubbs the Zombie is back in remastered from, or okay, this is back. Okay, Stubbs the Zombie is back remastered coming March 16th is what I think he's trying to say. And then Kebab says that click that Imran is hearing is the adaptive triggers disengaging.
Yeah. I know what it is. It's just
all the
like
gears.
it sounds like tension is releasing, which implies to me that like tension is happening, which feels like it's wearing down the controller. But I don't know. I'm not an engineer, so
You never will be.
Tomorrow-
With that attitude.
not
Tomorrow's
well,
host.
Not at this rate.
You still got time.
I mean, we'll see.
He's too
Maybe
old.
after this, I go into engineering school.
I don't think
That'd
so.
be wild if that was the real reason Imran was leaving. Imran's like, oh, I want to build a fucking spaceship. That's why I'm leaving. I want to go build something big, build something cool, spaceship. Tomorrow's hosts for Kind of Funny Games Daily are
I just
You know, engineers do other things, right? Like,
I don't
Not
know.
just-
I've never been an engineer.
you never
Why
will
am
be
I
with
supposed to
that
know what
attitude.
engineers make? I'm gonna go build a train. I'm gonna go build a bridge.
It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
big things. It could be small things, like electric toothbrush.
I'm gonna build a small robot.
build a bridge, like play a bridge builder on stream.
So much fun.
I've always wanted to play. I know. I'm sure this is very different, but I've always wanted to play that Bridge Constructor Walking Dead game.
Do it. Like, what is stopping you,
I don't
Justin?
know.
That
if
shit
it's-
looks
I don't know
fire.
that it's very different. I think that's exactly what. Right?
Is that what you mean by play a bridge building game?
Yes,
but I'm
that's
not
what I
gonna
meant.
I'm not gonna get like insight
There's a
into being an engineer from playing Bridge Constructor Portal or whatever.
It's true.
Shocked.
No one's
Like,
saying. No one's
there's some
saying.
like you need to at least understand engineering principles to play those games.
All right, fair play, fair point. Tomorrow's hosts for Kind of Funny Games Daily are Greg and MH Williams for our Kind of Funny Spotlight, and then Friday is gonna be Greg and Imran Khan. That'll be Imran Khan's last KFGD as a part-time host. Imran.
I don't know if you've ever heard MH William talk, but he has the best voice in the video game industry.
I'm excited.
Oh, I can't wait to listen.
Yeah, it is silky smooth.
Oh.
If you're watching live right now on Twitch, after this is 30 minutes of Tim playing some of that Super Mario 3D World. And then after will be Greg and Snowmike Mike playing some Division 2. And Greg will be raising money for Jim Lee in the Book Industry Charitable Foundation. And so watch along, support the cause. Of course, Jim Lee is, I guess, drawing on Greg's PS5. I think that's the whole thing. You've heard Greg explain it. Greg will explain it again on the stream. And so stay tuned for that. That should be awesome.
I might hop into that Mario stream briefly.
I might hop into that too, because that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
This
Keep
has
your
been Kind of Funny
cameras on.
Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the engineer thing again, because the only thing I think of that engineers do is make big things like spaceships. So stick
They
around
do
for
that
that.
too. Like that is
They do. I'm not wrong. They build spaceships and shit, but also
Yeah.
they also build a lot of other shit.
Very
Engineers do a
small
lot of things.
Very small things.
What's the small
Engineers.
thing an engineer makes?
the unsung
Like
heroes.
everything. Like a mouse.
It's true.
Like the PS5 you own is made by an engineer.
Pretty
Engineers
big
are awesome.
though. It's like as far
Yeah.
as
Let me-
consoles are concerned,
True.
that's the biggest
I
one.
should
You pick the
I should have
biggest-
chosen a different. It is not
Small
the biggest
things
fucking thing
like
in
the
the world.
PlayStation 5. So I went to the University of Illinois, and that is actually a very big engineering school. And so I had a lot of friends that were and are engineers.
And at no
one of
point
the
have
coolest.
you ever asked them what they did except for
No, at no point was I like, so what the fuck do you do? I will say one of my friends.
Did they say spaceships and that was it?
He was like, yeah, build spaceships. One of my friends, his name was Joe. I used to hang out with him all the time. Him and his girlfriend at the time, who now wife, they were very into Borderlands, and I'll play Borderlands with them all the time. He had access to a 3D printer, and you know what this dude did? He went and 3D printed his own version of Settlers of Catan that was Borderlands themed, and it was the
Nice. That's pretty
coolest
cool.
shit I had ever seen anybody do. And since then, I've had a strong respect for engineers, because engineers are the fucking dopest people on the planet Earth.
But like, how does that
This
Anyway.
relate
episode
to
is
him
dedicated to
building
engineers.
a spaceship? Like, why did you
I'll-
say
'cause-
Settlers of Catan?
I was trying, because that's not gonna make sense unless I tell the story. If I'm like, oh, Imran's gonna go make his own fucking Settlers of Catan set, Borderlands.
All right,
themed,
well,
everybody'd
we
be like,
got
what the fuck is he
a
talking
stream
about?
to go to. We got a stream. Say bye to the kids.
Yeah, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames post show is gonna happen now. Stick around for that. Otherwise, until next time, game daily.